Y'all gonna want to sit down for this one. We're about to deep dive into something truly profound, creation itself. And we ain't just talking about the birds and the bees. No, sir. We're going to explore the very first chapter of Genesis, unpacking those powerful verses with insights from both religious scholars and scientific folks. Get ready for some aha moments. Because the way God talks about creation, well, it sounds a whole lot like how we talk to those fancy AI programs nowadays.
It's true. The parallels between divine creation and the capabilities of AI are striking and offer a unique perspective on both.
So in the beginning, there's nothing. Genesis describes it as formless and void, darkness everywhere.
Right, it's this primordial state of emptiness, a blank canvas.
God speaks. Let there be light.
And there was light.
Hold on a second. That sounds awfully familiar, don't it? It's like when we give a prompt to an AI, we might type in, "Write me a poem about a sunrise." And suddenly, there it is. Words, beauty. Something created out of nothing.
Exactly. Both God's commands and AI prompts set an intention, a specific goal, and initiate a process that brings something new into existence.
So, God's words are like the original code, the divine software that sets the whole universe in motion.
It's a powerful analogy. Just like with AI, where the quality of the output depends on the clarity of the prompt, God's commands are incredibly precise, leaving no room for ambiguity.
It's like God is saying, generate a universe with a whole lot of stars.
Yeah.
And make sure some of them twinkle extra bright.
Ah.
And don't forget the fluffy bunnies.
And from that formless void, structure emerges. Light is separated from darkness, sky is formed, waters gather, dry land appears. It's a step-by-step process, unfolding with incredible purpose.
Just like a well-written program, executing its lines of code one after another.
And if we look closer at those commands, those divine prompts, we see a pattern emergent. It's a language of creation that's both powerful and elegant.
All right, so we got God speaking things into existence, just like we do with AI. But let's not forget the masterpiece of his creation. Humans made in God's image. What does that even mean in this context?
That's where things get really interesting. We're talking about imago Dei, a concept that has intrigued theologians and philosophers for centuries.
Now, hold on a minute. For folks who ain't spending all their time in seminary, what exactly key is imago Dei?
It's the idea that humans, unlike any other part of creation, bear a special resemblance to God. It's not necessarily about physical appearance, but something deeper, more profound.
We're reflecting some aspect of God's nature.
Precisely. And what's fascinating is that one of the key aspects of imago Dei is our capacity for creativity. We're made to be creators, just like God.
So you're telling me that building a birdhouse or whipping up a batch of grandma's famous pecan pie is somehow connected to the divine act of creation?
In a way, yes.
Okay.
Because when we create, we're tapping into that same spark of divine inspiration, that same impulse to bring something new and beautiful into the world.
Well, now that gives me a whole new perspective on my arts and crafts hobby.
And it raises some profound questions about our relationship with AI. If we're created in the image of God, and we're now creating machines that can create, are we getting closer to understanding the very essence of what it means to be divine?
Now, that's a question that'll keep you up at night. But before we go too far down that rabbit hole, let's take a closer look at some of the specific commands God uses in Genesis. Because those words, those divine prompts, hold the key to unlocking even deeper mysteries about the nature of creation.
All right, so we're talking about those specific commands in Genesis, those divine prompts. Let's go back to day one. Darkness covered everything. And God said, "Let there be light," and there was light.
Simple, straight to the point. Kind of like how we talk to our voice assistants these days. Alexa, play some bluegrass music, and boom, there it is.
Precisely. And just like a well-crafted prompt guides an AI to generate a specific output, God's commands establish the very foundations of the universe.
And it doesn't stop there. God keeps on speaking, bringing order to the chaos, kind of like a cosmic sculptor shaping clay with words.
On day two, he separates the waters, creating a vast expanse, the sky.
Let there be a vault between the waters to separate water from water. It's almost poetic, ain't it?
It is. And notice the precision of the language. It's not just make sky, it's about separation, about defining boundary.
And then on day three, things really start to take shape.
God commands, "Let the water under the sky be gathered to one place, and let dry ground appear. And then, let the land produce vegetation, seed-bearing plants and trees on the land that bear fruit with seed in it, according to their various kinds."
Now, that's what I call a green thumb. It's like God is laying out the blueprint for the whole ecosystem, from the tiniest seed to the tallest tree.
And that brings us to a point I find particularly intriguing. This whole 7-day structure, this rhythm of creation and rest. It's not just a timeline. It's a framework that has shaped our understanding of time itself.
You mean like working for 6 days and then taking a Sunday nap? Even God rested on the seventh day.
Exactly. That idea of Sabbath, of setting aside time for rest and reflection, it's woven into the very fabric of creation. And in a world that's constantly on the go, is a powerful reminder of the importance of balance, of finding harmony between work and rest.
Well, I can get behind that. Now, where were we? Oh, yeah. God's still busy creating. What's next on the divine to-do list?
Day 4. Lights in the vault of the sky. God said, "Let there be lights in the vault of the sky to separate the day from the night, and let them serve as signs to mark sacred times and days and years."
The sun and the moon, God's cosmic timekeepers.
Precisely. They're not just sources of light, they're markers of time, establishing a rhythm and order to the universe.
Kind of like how we use calendars and clocks to structure our lives. God's got it all figured out. So what about day 5? Fishing time.
God said, "Let the water teem with living creatures, and let birds fly above the earth across the vault of the sky." And just like that, the seas and the skies are filled with life in all its diversity.
And each creature according to its kind. It's like God is designing a whole ecosystem, each element perfectly suited to its place.
And this idea of kinds is something that continues to spark debate among scientists and theologians alike. What exactly constitutes a kind? How much variation is there within a kind? These are questions that we're still wrestling with today.
Makes you realize that even with all our scientific advancements, there's still so much we don't understand about the mysteries of creation. All right, so we got light, sky, land, plants, sun, moon, fish, birds. What's left?
Day 6, God said, "Let the land produce living creatures according to their kinds, the livestock, the creatures that move along the ground, and the wild animals, each according to its kind." And then, the crown and achievement of creation.
Wait for it. Humankind. But this time, God doesn't just speak. There's something different about the way humans are created. It's more intimate, almost.
You're right. Genesis tells us, "Then God said, let us make mankind in our image, in our likeness, so that they may rule over the fish in the sea and the birds in the sky, over the livestock and all the wild animals, and over all the creatures that move along the ground."
In our image, in our likeness. That's something we hadn't heard before. It's like God is sharing something special with humanity, something that sets us apart from all other creatures. But what exactly does that mean? What is this image of God that we're supposed to reflect?
Well, that's a question that has been pondered by theologians and philosophers for centuries. And it's a question that's become even more relevant in light of our own advancements in artificial intelligence. Because if we're truly made in the image of a creator, and we're now creating machines that can create, what does that say about our own potential, our own responsibility?
Now, those are some deep waters we're wading into. But before we get lost in the philosophical weeds, let's take a step back and appreciate the sheer beauty and wonder of what we've just explored. The story of creation, as told in Genesis. A story that continues to inspire and challenge us thousands of years later.
It's quite a journey we've taken. From that formless void to a world teeming with life, all guided by those divine commands in Genesis. But it all started with those powerful words, "Let there be light." And that's where I think we can find a powerful connection to our own lives, even beyond the realm of AI.
Okay. I'm following you what you're getting at.
Well, think about it. Light dispels darkness, right? It brings clarity. It reveals what was hidden. It's essential for growth and understanding.
Yeah, can't argue with that.
So what if we consider that first command, "Let there be light," as a metaphor for our own spiritual and intellectual journeys?
You're saying that just like God brought light to the universe, we got to seek out the light of knowledge and truth in our own lives.
Exactly. It's about constantly striving to learn, to grow, to expand our understanding of the world and our place in it. Just like God's light illuminated the darkness, we can use the power of our minds and spirits to illuminate the dark corners of ignorance and prejudice.
Now that's a powerful thought.
Yeah.
And it ties in beautifully with the idea of being made in God's image. We're not just passive recipients of light. We're called to be bearers of light, sharing it with others.
Precisely. And I think that's where the conversation about AI becomes particularly relevant. Because these tools, these technologies, they can be powerful instruments for bringing light to the world.
You mean like using AI to solve problems? to
Wrong.
advance scientific discovery, to connect people across cultures.
Exactly, but it all comes down to intention. Just like God's creative acts were driven by love and purpose, our own use of AI, our own creative endeavors, need to be guided by those same principles.
So it ain't enough just to create something new. We gotta ask ourselves, what's the purpose? Is it gonna bring light to the world? Or is it gonna cast a shadow?
That's the question we all need to be asking ourselves as we navigate this new era of technological advancement. Because ultimately, the story of creation is still being written, and we're all part of it.
We've come a long way from that formless void in Genesis, ain't we? But the journey's far from over. We're still discovering, still creating, still striving to understand the mysteries of the universe and our place within it.
And that's the beauty of it all, isn't it? The endless possibilities, the constant invitation to seek knowledge, to create beauty, to make the world a little brighter, a little more kind, a little more full of love.
Well, folks, we've journeyed from formless void to a world teeming with life, all thanks to God's powerful words. But here's a thought to chew on. If God's creation was like a divine prompt, what kind of world are WE creating with the prompts WE give our AI? Just something to ponder on your next Sunday stroll. Until next time, y'all keep searching for those divine sparks of knowledge.